Welcome, everybody. Welcome to BeoTalk. What are we? 261.
61.
Hope everybody's doing well. My apologies, I haven't been able to have time to get my monocle yet. Because, we're luxurious over here.
Oh, we're gonna get more luxurious too.
Yeah, so, jolly good. As per usual, go and support Skinny Play and that sort of thing, and buy yourself something nice with 10% off. This in the chat. Use the promo code and you get 10% off, which is always nice. Come join our Discord, where you're up on the newest news. Always the soonest before Bino generally tells anybody. We're also on Twitch, and if you want a guaranteed answer to your question or topic, a super chat is more than welcome. It also helps keeps the light on. And yeah, we're also on Substack. I know I keep putting it off because I've been busy doing other things, but if you want to not see our faces, soon everything will be up again. And yeah, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, how's your week been?
It's pretty interesting, actually. Not much that happened, but a lot happened too. I had the first dead out of the box set of BeoLab 20s, which was the last pair that we sold.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
what was that? Just the power supplies or everything?
No, I looked it up on the BOIs, and it's essentially a short with a tweeter ground, which causes it to go to protection mode. So you got to replace the tweeter and the not the amplifier, the power supply board.
Oh, okay.
So luckily we had like it was more or less the second last set, because the last set was in a warehouse. So I went back, dude, and it's like I was basically going there to pair those speakers wirelessly, hook up a Beosound core and a transmitter. So
okay.
I go in, and like there's the guy from the Bell, whatever. So I did my thing, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Since like he's gonna give you a switch, why don't we just hardwire the whole thing? Right? So hardwire the core, because he was complaining about the Wi-Fi coverage in that room specifically. Okay, so it's a switch. So I made cables, Apple TV, the Samsung, whatever, the brain unit for the TV box, the core. What else? Did have one more thing there, and the bell box. So I wired all this, blah blah, trim out all the cables, everything. Like it was done. 2 hours is done with everything. Like I have a cable manager, rewiring all this shit, and updating software on the core, blah blah. Plug it all in, plug in the speakers. Speakers paired. They went to standby. As soon as you start playback, the left one fires up, no problem. The red one goes to the orange bling. I'm like, oh, not even sound come out. I'm like, that's not good. So I reset the transmitter, reset the speakers, try it again, power cycle everything, try it again. Same symptoms. I'm like, fuck. And since I work predominantly with the Cat 7 cable, so I just took one of the cables from the switch, right? Threw it into the PL output of the core, brought the speaker to the core, plugged it in, same outcome. Like, oh no, this speaker's fucked. So I drove back. It took me hour and a, well, it said on GPS hour and a half. It was hour and 40 minutes to get there. To drive back through the Montreal traffic was 2.5 hours. Picked up the set of speakers from the warehouse, turned the fuck around, and went back there, which was a 3-hour drive. 66 kilometers. No, sorry, 102 kilometers. 3 hours. I could have walked there, for God's sakes.
Well, in that case, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be like a professional walker.
Fuck. So, but anyways, at the end of the day, the guy was happy because it was all resolved within 1 day, right? So it's not something, okay, we're gonna take those speakers now, and then for me to service them, yes, I don't have an issue with it, but now you have to wait for the parts to come in from Netherlands, which usually they're here within a week, but still it's a week, right? And you have to drive back and schedule, and it's all busy, and
yeah, and you
so
lose
on
2
and so
days
forth.
of just sitting there looking at stuff that doesn't work, and it's annoying.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, let's just fix that, and we'll fix the speakers when I get them in the shop. So yeah, that was basically it. Then we got the new B&O display with those avatars in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That people that had been in the showroom and they see in the new display, then you can understand what that. It looks like a giant snot, but it's in the shape of a certain appendage of a male. So the way that it fits on the table and the way you can hold it, literally it's cock and balls, bro. There's no way to go about it.
Wait, you don't fondle it every time you go by?
No, I fondled it enough when I had to put the Velcro on it, just like glue it onto the display. I'm like, all right, that's the last time I'm touching that. It's just so weird.
You don't go by and like, ooh.
No, because it's like the ball part, basically the divot, is for the A5 to sit there. So it's like it looks like that ooze, it's consuming it, whatever the avatar thing is. Which, by the way, like surveying the Gen Z people here, everybody likes it from the Gen Zs. They like that little avatar shit. I guess we're too old, bro. It's just not our time no more.
If you look on YouTube,
Hmm.
uh, the comments on that stuff on their B&O shorts are ruthless.
Are they? I haven't
Yeah.
looked. Let's see.
Uh,
Let's pull that up a little bit.
it's yeah, they're not good.
Well, I honestly, I just do not think it has anything to do with the brand. And, you know, I wonder about the imminent price increase, which is definitely coming. How much do we pay for that software that they could buy licenses for to develop this nonsense too?
Let's see comments. How did B&O get this bad? Where did it all go wrong? What the fuck is this? What is wrong with you?
And they're not wrong, man. Like it's just so weird. Like what is that? It really like this thing reminds me of like the Ninjago Lego system, you know?
You're a Knex or something.
No, but like the Ninjago, they got all these spikes and shit, right? Because it's all like the ninja stuff. But it's just so weird. Like I don't get it at all. I don't know. I guess I'm too old for this shit now, but I just do not get it.
Uh, this guy seems Dutch. I'm getting more and more disappointed in B&O. I love the tech, but at this rate, B&O will be gone in the future. It's exclusive. You can be a dealer, but you need to follow the guidelines, and you can't do anything else. All based on the guidebook, where some real store owners who do it their way, where trust in store owners, each part of the country is different people, meaning you need to implement different strategies. Agreed. I don't think a unifying strategy is the way to go, quite honestly.
Mm.
I mean, like he says, if B&O was more accessible to different stores, it will grow a lot. And I mean, it's all the same, essentially.
I think, in my opinion, instead of doing the research, spending money on design of this shit, right? They should have spent the money
He
in
gets a
the
like for this.
software in a software department that should integrate the NLMCL or NLML converter with the theater. That's what they should focus in. Like they should focus in on the functionality of this. Also, I don't know if the overlay menus ever coming back, but I don't think so for gateways or net and BeoLiving intelligence altogether. I really don't see that happening with the LG. Maybe that's something they should focus on instead
Yeah,
of this
but it worked with
dancing
the Harmony and
fucking.
Eclipse.
Yeah, but this is freaking. It's not an ASC platform anymore, bro. This is
Yeah.
all Mozart,
So,
and none of the Mozart really floats good with so far that I've played with. It's limited to certain things.
yeah, the whole tap to join thing works, but
Yeah, so
that's more or less it.
also they should integrate the video feed from the panels to the network link so you can listen to a whole bunch of stuff in the same or how much our rooms have the same sound in sync. So
I mean, maybe this is like one of these things they did with the university or something, like a digital project, or
I don't know.
it's weird. It's for sure weird.
I don't get the wiener deal, like the sea cucumbers, whatever the heck that is. Like it's on all of it, right?
I was talking to John, and he called it a dong monster.
It totally is, man. It totally is. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I haven't been for a while since it came out. Really, and also the disconnect that user. Why would you do the Spotify, not Deezer, to create your avatar?
Yeah, I still don't understand that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's also so weird. Like,
yeah, this is the one that we have on the display. That's the big printout of it. It's a little different, but it's that stainless or
I
whatever.
mean, thinking about it now, like the whole see yourself in sound, I'd much rather be one of the sort of NFT based products that they launched a while ago, right? Like, which we're also not that enthusiastic about, but like,
No.
how come we're something weird like this and not one of their products?
In my opinion, they should focus more on product interface development than doing this nonsense. I don't know. Whatever money that cost, I think it still was spent stupidly. So
I really don't get it, but whatever. Yeah, maybe we're too old or something. But then again, you have to be kind of old to buy a lot of B&O, right?
yeah,
Like, there's not that many very high net worth individuals that are under 30.
no, not really. And most of the people that I had dealt with that are within, the even 40s sometimes, like they buy just BeoPlay product, A9s back in the day, right? And small stuff. It's obviously when they have kids and it just gets harder.
Mm-hmm.
But there's way less of those that are interested in what is currently going on the B&O's website than they think, in my opinion. Because the people that think that this shit is cool, they buy Beosound Explore, BeoPlay A1 or whatever it's called nowadays. Maybe an A5 at the top, right? But they're not going to buy a balance. So
I mean, this is sort of more classic B&O style.
yeah,
I mean,
like, this is nice. You know what I mean? This is actually finally something that makes sense.
this is also a bit aspirational, but sure, it's fine. But then
See, it has to be the rich kids to be disrespectful like that, to be to put it on the sandboard of a fucking skateboard. It's ridiculous. But I guess it just communicates the fact that it's tough or whatever. But yeah, this it's like
it's
a
so
fucking
strange.
just like a bunch of different viruses dancing to me. Is what it
I
is.
think I softened slightly on it. I don't like fully hate it, but it's like it makes no sense.
They make it hard not to, though. You know what I mean? Like it really make it hard not to hate. Like, what is that? You know what I mean?
And how is this an avatar of anybody?
Like it ties in that, I guess, the shiny of the aluminium and whatever. Like I don't know what that ties into. I mean, blob. Yeah, I don't get it.
I agree with Lars here. Like, how is this related to the brand? Oh, hi, Mark. I see you here.
So, but yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's silly. It's really it has nothing to do with anything really. And I think that's their way of doing something goofy, I guess, because there's really nobody at the steering wheel during the
Guy with the hot take reminds me of old foam rot.
But yeah, like like what is this marketing department doing their own thing now? Because there's nobody, everybody's on vacation, so they're just like, okay, nobody's gonna say nothing to that. Poof, let's just throw this out
I
there.
don't know this at all, but I think this must be a collaboration with like the universities they
They
like
work with.
intern with. Like, surely it must be something like that, right? Like, because if internal B&O people are on this, then I'm really out of ideas of like how to save this company. Like,
I agree. Like this has nothing to do with anything. They're looking at these weird Tai Chi moves and shit. Like for what?
because to relax.
That's right.
That's what I imagine Steve doing on his vacation. He's just tai chiing the whole day.
Yeah, this is this is sad. But I don't know how that would appeal to the VH and WIs, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. But I just don't know what it follows. Like I don't know like what logic, what is this going to?
When does the hurting stop? Savage Lars.
The what?
When does the hurting stop?
Right? Oh, is that the line? Oh yeah, that's so. Oh God. But it's just I don't get it. Is people savage on that? Because it's hard to see for me how people
Yeah,
still.
it goes for like, oh, this is amazing, to like, this is goddamn terrible. But yeah, I don't know. At least it's got people talking, if that's what they were aiming for, I guess. But
I did mine, but it looks like a salad. Oh God. It's just uh, I don't understand. Like I don't understand what is like the morph out of, because it looks like like the expensive porcelain with some cast aluminium, I guess.
yeah,
I don't get this. These crystals and shit. I don't know, man. I called me old fashioned, I guess, but I just
mm,
can't.
hmm, hmm.
It's just what is that?
Yeah. These look like pool noodles. I want some for my pool. I actually have a pool noodle in these two colors, in like the blue and the pink. They were 98 cents each.
Oh my God. I just don't know. I don't know what the heck.
Evening, Matt.
Yeah, you haven't missed much, bro, because we're just going through the plethora of avatars that BNO has blessed us to look at. Yeah, we've seen that one already. But it looks like almost it's in the water or something, right? Like this one, like the way that those dildos float.
You think one or two would be enough? No, we need 40.
There's more than 40. That's like a fucking sex shop porcupine over here. Like, what is that?
Also, what would you say this music style is?
I can't hear it because I have it muted. Let me just
No, I
undo that.
understand. I can't like play it on YouTube either, copyright and stuff. But like, just
No, that's
looking
so
at it,
weird.
right? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, do you just
What?
listen to like Marvin Gaye or something?
No, this would be like I don't know, man.
Like,
This would be like dubstep, not dubstep. The RM the what's that?
Bjork.
Bjork. Fuck. Pretty much. I would say Bjork. because there's nothing weirder than her in music, in my opinion. But yeah, that I could actually see as part of Bjork's music video. To be honest with you, like she's the weird lady enough that she could pull that shit off. I don't think even Lady Gaga could pull that kind of nonsense off when it comes to weird shit. But yeah,
Maybe it's some elaborate joke or something.
I don't know. I'm just like I'm tired of like how weird those campaigns are going because like they gone from angry vegans to fucking something that made sense, and then this.
Yeah, I mean, even their Instagram site, it's sort of like marketing had the idea like, whatever you do, do not show products. It's I don't know, it's strange. It's really, really strange.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe
See, but they show the A5, like that's good that it's flooded with the A5, and then they have Ferrari, and they come up with the freaking Alonso Explorer, which y'all missed the train by a season on that, and I don't even watch this stuff.
I mean, maybe they took a playbook out of Ferrari's strategy decisions, because Ferrari is the last 3 years known for their terrible strategy decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ooh,
Kind of agree with.
we're about to win, but we could lose it. Let's pick that road.
I agree with David. I miss the angry vegans too, man. At least these were humans, angry but humans. Now you just got these like whatever sea cucumbers and fucking polished blobs of metal dancing in front of your screen now. When you try to consider buying $157,000 speakers, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it was better a few months ago when at least products were more
Products.
Yeah. I mean, it was getting better for a bit, but then every so often there's this weird streak that comes through, and it's like I really don't understand. Also, this as a picture is like, hello.
That's how I listen to my headphones. one on the cheek. Jesus Christ.
I mean, good thing the cushions are soft enough to do that.
Right. But yeah, I don't understand where we're headed with this stuff.
I mean, yeah, the worst thing coming soon is probably the price hikes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, let's pull up B&O's site, because
they're not adjusting it already, are they?
No, supposedly August 15th.
Okay, you want to do a price hike party again? Like, remember the last time we watched it, they were doing it in real time?
Yeah. But yeah, supposedly this is going to go up 20%, the theater.
Fuck.
Let me see. I'm in the US. So if it's for the US too, this soundbar will be over 10K for just the theater.
Fuck.
I mean, not a lot, but it'll be like 10,500 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pre-tax, right? So depending on where you are, that adds another, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 9%. I mean, Chicago's, I think, 11 now. So by the time you're out the door, it's like over 11 grand, and you just have a sound bar.
Fuck. Yeah, that's crazy. 20% is a lot. I personally think when they jack that, I don't think they should touch the theater for this price hike. I think they should leave it where it is, because that's a very, very successful product. And in my opinion, it also it opens the gateway for people to buy more speakers, or allows them to buy more B&O
Right?
speakers.
Like it's the heart that
So
starts everything.
that's right. So I wouldn't ostracize myself by increasing the price on that. Yes, the other speakers, well, fuck, I guess it is what it is. But I would leave the theater where it is for now. At least give it another price hike loop, or cycle, I guess, and then and go from there. Because uh, yeah, it should be also finished better in the app. It should have the same remote control ability as the stage has, which is a fraction of the cost of this, as far as the remote control. Because I do, believe it or not, I do miss it. Because every now and then I just have my phone and I look, ah, fuck, my remote is on the counter, and I just want to, either skip
Pause.
or whatever, pause. You
Pause
can't
just
do that.
mutes it. Which is like,
So
why is it a pause button, not a mute button?
so that's few things. Also, make the integration better. Make it work with the gateway better. Make it work uh with the NLM ML converter. Because some people, like, we still have installs that people have, unfortunately, because BNO lasts so goddamn long. They have houses that they still have integrated mastering system, and they want to put a new stuff in. If the Avant died, which was already on NLML converter, so now they are already used to the interface that was different from Masterlink, but it worked for years and years, and now it doesn't work for shit, which it feels bad. So
Yeah, I mean, I hope they leave the A5 and the A9 alone. Because if the A5 is already going to be $1,250, $1,300, I mean, similar in euros now. Like,
isn't A9 more or less hovering now in the price territory of the Beosound 1 or Beosound 2, whichever one it is, the big cone?
yeah, it's more expensive, but dear lord, that's gonna be expensive. That's gonna be nearly $5,000 in dollars for an A9.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm actually considering buying an A9. I'm
Yeah.
not fully sure where to put it, but
Fucking by the pool, bro. You can take it out.
yeah, but I want my A5 for that.
Oh, you're gonna regret that. I think A5 is too small for how big the pool and shit is. Plus, when there's water going on and stuff, like, you need power. You need some horsepower there, bro. I would go with the A9.
Wave at my neighbors every weekend, like, hello.
What?
Oh, my neighbors have one of these smart Google speakers outside. So every time, here's what I found from 2021, an article about, and then you hear beep, 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 beep. You then turn down the volume as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But if this is going to be nearly $5,000, if they're going to increase this, like, ugh, ugh.
That's a lot. That's a huge jump, in my opinion. But you know what, though? Fuck, it's still gonna sell. It's just
Well,
that's where we live.
some, sure, but like, it doesn't get better or more luxurious by just the mere fact of it being more expensive, surely. Surely luxury isn't just amazing price, right?
It's the Greta tax. You know how much the aluminium costs now to produce, bro.
No, but like, a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or something are luxurious, not because they cost an arm and a leg, but because they're actually well made. Like, it's
Okay.
not just the price. Like, they don't get better if you charge 100K more for them.
No. Consider says only the theater will go up to 20%. The rest is 8 to 11. Even that, man. Like, if you put 11% on the set of 50s.
Or an A9, that'll be $4,500 for an A9, which is probably close to that in euros as well, like close to €4,000 for an A9. Like, dear God, that's a lot of money.
I wonder if they're gonna do any hikes on the BeoPlay stuff side, or the portable living deal.
I surely hope not.
Scroll further down just to see how much is the. I didn't see.
So an extra 10% or so on 50s would make them $50,000.
50s for 50.
Yes, but the problem with that is that people don't realize that that doesn't mean with oak. That just means 3 fabric black covers.
Mm-hmm. Bare bone speaker. So if you want to go with the Mercedes grill on the walnut, you're looking at an additional, what?
I mean, if you want them like this, right, like natural aluminium with oak and the Mercedes grills, they're already 50 grand, if not a bit more, because it's ex sales tax once again.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you're out the door, you're paying 52,500.
I was debating. I'm still debating that now, even more and more, actually, to sell my 90s because it's just a pain in a dick to move them. Even if I make it to Florida, and or even before I make it to Florida, I'd sell them here and then I buy the 50s because I haven't owned the 50s yet. And I've been far away from the 90s now, like in listening to them, that it's just a good memory in my heart and ears. Because if I go back to the 90s and I sell them and I go to 50s, I'm gonna fucking cry myself to sleep every night of the week. But now I could do it because I could actually stomach the loss. Because I already haven't heard them for fucking a year. More than a year.
I mean, Generic Enthusiasts over on Twitch says the 50s at 50k put them in line with similar mainstream hi-fi rig. And that's not bad or here or there, but like they don't have the full brand recognition. Like, I mean, I love the 50s and I love B&O, as everybody knows. That's why we started this, right? But like, good God, like in terms of like a general sort of brands recognition, like Bowers and Wilkins is more known. Focal is more known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also if you want to truly entice, I would say the ultra high net worth people, the 90s are not extreme enough. Because Focal, they're top of the line, they're Utopia, Evo 3s or something, are like 220 grand, right?
Without the amplifiers.
Yes. So if anything, you need to sell 50s, 90s, and then hundreds, 110s, or whatever you want to call them, and charge actual silly money for them, where they're custom order only.
Pretty much.
I mean, literally tell Jeff, like, could you make us a speaker where the sales price is not important, essentially?
Yeah, but then there's limitations of how big the fucking thing is going to be, right?
Yeah, but those Focal Evo 3s, those Utopias, are 2.20 meters tall.
See, that's tabarnak, bro. Like, where do you put that? Like, I understand, but...
I mean, they're 200 and something kilo each.
Room. But that's a sound room. Like, that's a specific room you have that you designate for that.
We're going for these people, right? Like, this is the whole idea.
I don't think B&O's going for that. I think B&O is completely confused about who they're going after. Because if they're going after these people, what the fuck are we doing with this? The ads, campaigns, and whatever. What is you boosting your technology and your advancements and things and what you do? And if you do that, you do it for first 2 weeks when the product's released, and that's it. You bury it over, and instead of showing your $100,000 or now $160,000 set of speakers, you show angry people with headphones in their heads on fucking stairs from 100 meters away. Who cares? And I think that's what the disconnect is there, and also the disconnect is with the fact that they're a digital company. It's a completely different market targeting than the people that more want to listen to their system than they actually want to listen to their music. Because that's what that is. Like, if you're starting to get into these hundreds of thousands of dollars of things, to me at least, it's like, okay, well, yeah, this system sounds like that, but this system sounds like that, and fuck, every fireplace burns a wood differently.
Yeah.
But like I just don't understand where their stance on it is. Like, you're selling the best digital speaker on the planet, and that's it. There's much better speakers than that, because at the end of the day, the B&O admitted themselves when they were doing the research that they took 8 or 9 different high-end brands of speakers, listened to them, and they're like, okay, we like how this sounds, we like how that sounds, we like how that sounds. And Jeff with his magical leaders combine it together to an 8200 watt monster per side, which is more than enough power. Like, there's
You
more than enough
think?
power in these things, for fuck's sakes. Like, and they can do huge homes, but it's different, because these are meant for people with a, I guess, design lifestyle ensued, or in tow, where people that I had seen that are fucking audiophiles, there's not really very much of nice furniture anywhere, and it's the more attention is paid not to the decor itself, but everything is meticulously placed so the sound sounds the best from his system.
Yeah.
You know.
But essentially, if we assume that the 90s go up 8%, and it could be somewhere between 8 and 11, since launch, the 90s have doubled now.
Mm-hmm.
If you take into account sales tax and stuff, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's
I
also,
also
it
don't
feels good
understand,
for
like,
people that buy it, because or own it early, because at the end of the day, you always appreciate on the value of it.
yeah, but it was never this harsh up front, right? Like,
No, this is now we're hitting fucking new extremes that have never been seen before as far as the price hikes are concerned.
I mean,
Like, I've seen stuff go 5%, 3% over the years, right?
yeah.
But now we're hopping to like freaking double digits, bro. That's not good.
So I mean, essentially, if it's 8%, the 90s will go to 130,000 for just the simple black ones. Then, if you want them in any other color, essentially you pay another 10 grand or so.
Fuck.
So by the time you've paid, if you take a 5% sales tax in the US, which is, I would say, below the mean, you're out the door at $150,000. It's like, yeah. And probably that's not including installation cost.
No.
Which is like, oh.
That depends also.
That's
another
mental.
2-3 grand, right? Because you need 3 guys to bring them in. And bro, I hate Montreal because of the 90s here. Because to move them, there's no fucking ramps, or like like we have by law in Calgary that all the things have to have some sort of a the wheelchair access and whatever.
Yeah.
No, fuck, dude. The doors are, the house is 400 years old, man. Do you think they thought of the fact that one day you're gonna lug 137 block of fucking aluminium through this door? No. It's like that the 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, whenever that was, when it did the 90s. I had to take the crowns off, man, like just to get the speaker in the house.
Yeah.
And I dread the fact that there's going to be a day that somebody buys. Like, I don't understand. There was one service call I did. It was interesting. And Kareem was laughing. He's like, bro, you're going to shit. I go into this, it's a huge house, right? And then I go upstairs, and there's a room, like, there's an attic space where his listening room is, right? You couldn't fit the 50s in the box through the door that leads up to that room and staircase. Like, I do not understand how the guys brought it up there. Like, literally, it must have been just wrapped in a blanket and slowly going up those goofy stairs, man. Like, I would hate that every moment of it. And it's on a 4th floor or 3rd floor of his house. So, but yeah, that was an interesting setup to see. But yeah, I don't know. I think that they're kind of looking at what we sell way more B&O now when it comes to higher end speakers than, like, putting together systems that have the Powers and Wilkins and Burmisters or whatever, like the component systems that I would call. I don't see many of those. Maybe because my focus more or less is on the P&O, so I don't really get scheduled for these jobs. But I don't really see many of them going out.
I'm gonna ask a poll, like, because
All
I really wonder, like, because I have a feeling, like, having lived in Europe forever, right? Like, more expensive is more luxurious is a sort of North American mindset.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that.
But it may also be because of the country I lived in Europe, where, like, in the Netherlands, everybody's very price conscious, even like people that can spend it and not even notice they're missing it, right?
I think honestly, I would go. I'm not gonna influence the polls, hopefully, but in my opinion, it's number three everywhere. It's everywhere. Like you just everybody thinks the same way. Like I remember from when living in Slovakia, everybody would like more expensive you buy, the better it's supposed to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, guy, it was bad poll. But
Well, it's a cultural difference, I think, personally, because I mean it's weird, right? Because I used to live in a village that was one of the richer villages in the country, and there was a lot of old money, but there was also a fair bit of new money that wanted to pretend they were old money, right? And they built these huge castles for themselves and stuff. And
yeah,
if you know anything about the Netherlands, land is very expensive and building is very expensive. So all the old money always looked down on the people with the enormous houses, like, ugh, you're new. Like, it's not even 5 generations old. Like, ugh.
hmm
But, like, the people that could quite literally, I don't know, lose their wallet and lose $1,000 that was in cash in it and not notice it, they would still drive 20-year-old Volvos because it was economical and shop at an Aldi, right? Because it's like, why spend it? Because it's generational money.
hmm
Whereas here in the US, anyway, it seems like the more expensive anything is, somehow the better it
The more you
is.
flash, the more respect, so to speak, you get from people or
Yeah.
outside crowd, I guess. But I think it's a bad way. It's a very bad mentality, and that's also speaks for itself economically here. That a lot of people live in debt because they wanna look more richer, I guess, than they really are. So they spend their money and indict themselves with credit cards, and then it's just a vicious circle you never come out of. I know because I've been there for years. And I'm glad that I came
Yeah.
out of it.
I mean, people looked at us funny going to a car dealership where it was like, wait, you don't want a loan for your car? It's like, no. Like, why would I want to pay you for the next 5 years and then pay you like 10% more than what you're asking for now?
Right? Yeah, it just makes no sense.
I mean, it is the way of getting obviously nicer stuff than you could potentially afford.
hmm But yeah,
Generic enthusiast asks, what's the maximum power draw of a single 90? Do they require dedicated circuits? They don't require dedicated circuits, but it's probably better if they have one.
I had honestly in my old apartment, I had them all running on one 10 amp circuit with the TV on top of it. And I believe one of the 18s was on that same circuit. I've never had them come off with breakers. I've never had an issue, and I fucking juiced them. But then again,
They
for
tune
what
themselves for the room. So if you're in
but
an
they
open,
tune themselves for the room. So like if you go to crazy volumes, it's just gonna go to the crazy volumes for what that room acoustically more or less allows, even though it's really loud. Like it doesn't. I honestly didn't feel that I had the full potential out of those speakers in that room
no, for
because of
sure
the
you didn't.
measurements. There's no way. There is no way because I had heard them in Temblon when we swapped the speakers that we had the issue with, and it's a much larger space. And holy fuck, what a difference in sound! Like they sounded way more alive.
Uh, I guess the technical maximum they can draw is dedicated by the power plug, because the power plug maximally in Europe anyway is rated for 3,250 watts, so 3,250 watts.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're gonna blow your ears out. Like you're gonna be literally, you're not even gonna get tinnitus anymore. You're just gonna be deaf.
Yeah, you can severely damage your hearing. That's the only speaker that I had come across that you can seriously fuck up your ears with, and and they wouldn't sweat it.
Yeah, I mean, I think B&O lists it at average use because, like, and I think the average use is only like 200 watts or something, or 220, something like that.
Yeah, it's not much
I
when
mean,
you're
with
actually
efficient
seeing.
drivers, that's already quite loud.
Yes, especially with ice power amps.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, the amplification totals 8,200 watts, but it doesn't really work like that. It's, I mean, I think Jeff had it on his Tonmeister blog explained that you can have 1,000 watt amp and 1,000 watt amp, and they're not at all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically is amps and volts, and it gives you a range of adjustability because the wider the voltage is, right? You still get the same wattage, but you have more steps in between of how controlled everything is. Because if
How much it draws.
yeah, well, also how minuscule you can make the input on corrections and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can probably pull 8,000 watts for like a tenth of a second, but there's no reason you would want to. But it's mainly there for
No.
control.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no way you'd ever come across needing that much power, in my opinion.
I mean, who was that? There was that car guy with all the Ferraris that had it in his shop.
Yes.
And they're, I mean, they recorded the Ferrari and put it next to the Ferrari, and the 90s are louder than the actual Ferrari is.
Yeah, but I think 4 dBs or something.
Yeah, it was over 120 dB in that room, and it was a massive room.
Yeah. No, that was insane. That was an insane test.
I mean, hearing loss starts at 90, so
Oops.
yeah, it's the equivalent of like an F-16 flying like 100 feet overhead or something. It's like you basically go, "Ah!"
Yeah, Top Gun's good for that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, it's a bit of a magical realm still, but God, these prices, man, it's getting out
Yeah,
of hand
it's
a bit.
a little bit. I would agree.
I mean,
'Cause if
by the way,
everything
Mark
is gonna,
says if the fan base is tiny, which you're going to sell less units, so those units have to be more costly to make same-ish profits. Sure, but like you're not going to get a lot of newcomers when it's ridiculously expensive, right?
yeah, but they're not sitting on inventory with these, Mark. Like the 90s are built in batches now, so and I think it's every 3 or 6 months that they order the chassis from the factory where they are produced, or cast rather. So you either miss the train, or you just get on it, or you get on it and wait. So that's how the 90s work. It's not something that they just carry stock like, here we go.
No, it would be too costly for inventory as well.
I don't even think that they carry that much stock of the 50s, May. Like, I think that they have, maybe a few dozen of each as far as the colors are concerned, and then they just ship them out. The modularity is a little better with the 50s because the grills come in separate boxes. So you're only dependent on a SKU number of the 50 as far as like being silver or being anthracite, being black or being bronze or gold tone or whatever the bespoke color you want to decide to go with. That's a completely different market then and price point altogether. But the lamellas and fabrics are separate. Where I wonder, like, if they're gonna come out with, uh, if they're gonna even like, I don't understand if there's gonna be another revision, let's say to the Harmony, if they're gonna like attempt to put a 97-inch screen on it, or is that old, or like the original chassis, can it actually lift that much? Because it's a bit of a difference in weight when you come from 83 to 97.
I don't think actually the panel is the problem of lifting up and down. I think it's the wings.
And that's, well, it's part of that whole lifting mechanism, because they all lift, like, they're not lifted independently. They're lifted all mechanically tied into those two actuators, right? They just have their mechanical path, how they open up.
I mean, I had the, how would you say, the Mark I Harmony? They don't really do revisions, but they revise internal parts. But they made changes to the springs that were attached to the lifting mechanism, because I mean, I still have it somewhere, but like when the wings opened, they would like drop, and then because they, for some reason, the spring wasn't good enough for 77-inch already, and the difference in springs was enormous. Like the springs that were in there, I could like pull apart like that, and the new one was like
no way
3 millimeter coils, like.
Okay, so.
And that was a revision for the 88, but it solved the same problem on the Mark I.
Because the way I see it, like, okay, well, you know, let's say you had a Harmony 65 for, let's say, since it came out, so a few years now, right? And now you're like, shit, man, I want to get a 97-inch. Like, would you be able to put it on the existing chassis, or would there has to be some sort of a hardware kit update? You know, like the springs changed or whatever. That's what I wonder. Or if they're even going to come out with it, which I can only elaborate and speculate.
I'm going to see if I can find, because I have a picture somewhere.
What are you looking for?
The difference in spring that the Harmony has. I don't know if I can find it. Probably not. Anyway, it's like it's significant, but the weird thing was the part number didn't change. So as a dealer, if you were looking for the upgraded spring, like you go like this part number's in there, what's in there as a upgrade is like nothing, because the part number is the same. But then you ordered the same part number springs, and they were totally different.
Yeah, they should have changed the part number for them, or at least updated, put a note. But yeah, I'm wondering, because like even we have what 83-inch in the shop now, and like those wings they got some weight on them now. Like that's a lot of wood and aluminum now to lift around all smooth, like.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And it does it still very well, I have to say. Like it's because we swapped it from 77 to 83, and there was no issues. But yeah,
let me see if I can.
I think they need a new television, like a core TV again. Something like, you know, that replaces or complements the Harmony, not just the theater, because theater is just a sound bar, right? I think they should contemplate a new design of a TV, in my opinion.
I don't think they will.
No, neither do I. I think that they're just gonna bank on the fact that the theater rocks, which it does. But you know, how long are you gonna sail that ship before it's not that it's gonna sink, but it's just gonna be old.
Yeah.
You know? At some point, the fun ride becomes just a ride. So yeah, I wonder where they're gonna go with that, or what the new development is when it comes to like the Mozart-driven speakers. Like, are we gonna have a surround over network, which would be sweet if that was possible to do finally.
I would like that. It depends a lot on implementation on how that would work.
Well, I think it'd be cool if obviously like theater and all the speakers they would have to remeasure, or not remeasure, they would have to measure all the Mozart platform speakers to implement it in the theater. But I think like even if you have a mix and match, like let's say my scenario where I would just bring in a merge, put it in one side and put a level on the other side for surround effects, I don't think that you would really notice that much difference in acoustic response. Because at the end of the day, the theater would handle most of the bass, right? Like I don't think it would redirect. Well, it still would redirect whatever the capabilities are of those speakers, but I still think that you could do some magic with it based on how much digital control they have
Ah,
over the speakers and
I
how much
found
they
it.
they know. Did you
Yeah.
put it
So
on the
these are the
screen?
same part numbers, and this is one. The top is the old spring, and the
Hmm.
bottom is the new spring that came in for the 88-inch. Same part number though,
Hmm. That's a
and
big difference. That's not different. That's two different springs.
yeah, and removing the top one was easy. Putting the bottom one in was like two people like pulling with pliers and.
Oh fuck.
But
Yeah, that looks savage. It's thicker metal too.
yeah, that's why I was so surprised. But it solved the dropping issue.
Hmm. Hmm.
But maybe they made an even thicker spring for the 97. Who knows?
Who knows? Same part number. Fuck, you just order it. Comes even bigger, thicker.
Yeah. I mean, oh, Generic Enthusiast says 88-inch weighs more than the 97 panel only. But I think, I mean, the lifting feet, they can handle probably pushing an adult human male up, right? Like,
Hmm.
so the panel is not the problem. It's the wings and how long they are versus the pivot point.
Yeah. Because yeah, there's a lot of shearing stress when they come out.
Yeah,
Down.
and I mean, this spring essentially what it does is it keeps the movement smooth. So, but with the 77 with the top spring already, it like it got to a point in the movement because it's not a straight up and down, like it's not a because they
Mhm.
move away from each other to
That's
not
right.
touch points.
Yeah.
Like where it got to the end where it didn't actually stop anything anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
So
looking forward to it. I think what is it, 83 or 88 that we have in the shop? The 4K one. I think it's the 83.
83, yeah.
Yeah, that thing is massive, dude. But the funny thing is, when we swapped it from 77 to 83, it didn't really look that much of a difference.
No, but it's well. I mean, the
But it's
aspect
different.
ratios don't change that much. I mean, I didn't
But the
even
square
notice
footage does.
initially when I saw it.
Hmm.
For people that haven't seen it for a while, this is the inside of the back of Harmony, by the way.
Oh, so let's talk about so far. How is it going? I'm kind of curious about the unpacking process.
Oh God. So I
Too
have
soon?
no. I need to get a price quote because there is a tiny scratch on the top of the 50s. And it's not from transport, it's from them carrying it down the stairs to put into boxes, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
And I think, again, like you always said, like it's like a button or something that did it.
Or a watch?
Fortunately, if you have like the triangle, it's on the back. And
So you need that top cap?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I know what the prices are in Europe, but I don't know if they're the same here. And also, if somebody were to do it here, like what do they charge for coming over and that sort of thing.
Dude, you can do it yourself, man.
Yes, I know, but it's an insurance question.
Oh.
I mean, they're insured, right? And the insurance told me if you pack this yourself, they're not insured. So therefore, you have to pack it. Fine. That's all part of the insurance then. So if you
Hmm.
fuck it up, I'm not going to say, well, then I'll do you a favor.
Hmm. No, no, no. Like, yeah, you have to get somebody to do it for you.
Yeah.
But it's literally 6 screws to pop it out.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I want the warranty on that as well then. Because if somehow you don't tighten the screw and I play some bass and all of a sudden I hear clink, 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 it's like you're going to come back free of charge to fix this shit. Like, it's not on me then, right? Like, none
No,
of this is on me.
no, I get it,
And
but it's yeah, that's the shit. So everything else, they work obviously.
yes, I'm now a proud Beosound moment user. Because that's basically the only easily available source I have.
Oh, you got a moment going?
Yeah.
Damn, nice.
Yeah, I bought one
I know.
in back in the Netherlands, and I bought it for like €300, and it was at an auction, and it's like we don't know if it works, and it turns out it works just fine. Everything's
Nice.
fine about it. So yeah, very happy with the moment. Other than it doesn't have AirPlay, but whatever. It plays radio and stuff, so that's fine. I had I don't know if people remember, behind me was always a stainless steel and marble table. Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty much ruined because
Fuck.
they again also wrapped it, but didn't put anything on the corners and then loaded it in on its side.
Chip the corners.
Yeah, because they just drag it out like that, right, over the floor.
Fuck.
Hold on, I can probably put some pictures up. Let me see for a second. I can illustrate this better because my goddamn heart sank, obviously, when I saw the 50s.
On their sides.
Yeah.
That sucks. How long do you think they were on their sides? All the way from Netherlands?
I have no idea, but probably a long time.
Shit. So how much did you unpack so far?
Pretty much everything.
Oh, okay.
Like everything I packed was fine, obviously, because I way overdid it.
But that's the way you gotta do it when you, especially when you move into continents, for God's sakes.
They also seemed like they played like rugby or something with a lot of these boxes.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of boxes were torn on the side, and it's like, oh man, as in like somebody stepped on them or something. Like it's not good. Fortunately, everything inside the boxes was fine, but again, it's not really something to be super happy with. So yeah, this is the edge of my marble table.
Yeah, the anti-tilt stickers would be, oh fuck. Yeah, that's ruined. Yeah, you can't even fix that.
No. So this is after they put it up correctly, but this is
fuck.
How you look in the back of a lorry and your heart sinks. Because they also, as you can see, stacked a bunch of shit on top of it.
Yeah.
And they were on pallets, but somebody removed the fucking pallets.
What a fucking shit show.
So,
yeah, that would piss me off, man. At least, you know, they have, like, 90s would have been fucked, because I'm sure that they would have ripped out from the screws being on the side for that long. You would have seen them on the side like that. They would have been damaged to shit. But this, holy fuck, yeah, it's done properly.
I'm just so happy that the overbuilding B&O tends to do was still available on 50s, and they also did it on the fucking boxes, because it was literally stacked to the ceiling on top of them. And the poles that are in there didn't bend or anything.
Nice.
Or crack or... So it's like, whew. So,
yeah, because that would suck, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a marble table.
So have you powered them up?
Yeah, I've been using them for the last 2 or 3 days or so.
No problem whatsoever. Just fired up.
Yeah.
Fucking
The
good.
lenses are fine too. They work, no problem.
Good.
Maybe it's because I'm in a bigger room, but if anything, they sound maybe a bit quiet coming up and down.
Interesting.
Oh, I forgot to add the one picture that actually mattered.
What's that?
The BeoLab 50 scratch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's see.
I'm
I'm still wondering if it's on the lens or if it's on the actual top hat.
Oh, it's on the top head.
Okay. Is that the only one? Did you expect them? Like, I guess you obviously went through them with a magnifying glass. It's just people don't know how to fucking handle B&O, man. It's just sad when you look at them dealing with it. And just damage happens that should never have been happening.
I mean, it's not big damage at all.
No, but that's bullshit. But
it
wasn't
wasn't
there. Of a
there.
watch. That's a watch clasp. Like, look at that. How it like it caught. So yeah, that's a clasp of a watch.
I mean, it wasn't there, so you're paying for the shit because, like I said, I'm very fortunate. It's on the back, so if you have them like facing forward with the wall behind it, it's like you have to be on the back side to actually see it.
But you know it's there.
Yeah.
No, for me that's no good.
And fuck you, it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this ding, this gouge, and then this scratch.
So no, I would fight that for sure. Isn't there anybody like pro partner in the Tampa area that you can have to come and replace it?
I don't know, probably somebody's somewhere. I mean,
Just so it's on the record, I guess.
I mean, I asked the Miami store, obviously, and I hope to get a quote soon.
Good.
I mean, I'm not even sure I necessarily want the top cap replaced because I don't like people fiddling with my speakers. But if I want to, I mean, if I'm still considering selling them, right? Like this is going to knock off like $1,500 or something,
at least.
So it's kind of like, either way, I'm out of money, even if I don't get anything done. So fuck you, pay me.
Well, you pay the insurance for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I would look at it too. That sucks, but at least you know what. That's if that's the worst that happened, then it's not bad. Well, obviously the table took the brunt of it. Is there anything else that got damaged, broken?
No, not by the looks of it.
So then you're not that bad.
No, I mean there's something that's missing, but
what do you mean?
There's 1 or 2 boxes that didn't arrive. And there's 1 box where it's somebody else's box.
What the fuck? How is that?
It's some sort of table cover for a table that I've never seen, or a shape of it. This is like, oh, okay.
Wow.
So I guess they fucked up boxes somewhere, and
so then I guess it's a central warehouse somewhere where they're sorting all this stuff, loading it into containers.
Yeah, I mean that was up. They were upfront about it, right? Like, because you're not going to get your own container if you can't fill it, because that just makes no sense. So it's like, fine, if you can guarantee that you keep everything separate, and it's like they said yes, so it's like, okay.
Was it something valuable or just like some bullshit?
Hard to answer, because valuable in the sense of monetary value, no.
Sentimental?
Yes.
Shit.
Was it insured, on the other hand? No, because the monetary value wasn't enough to insure it. But it's sort of like, God damn it.
Yeah, it's too bad there's no way to find who it ended
it's
up
like,
with.
what do you do with like picture albums, right? Like,
Hmm.
what kind of money do you put on that?
You don't.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, but are they important and or valuable? In many ways, yes.
Hmm.
But how to express that in money?
Yeah, that's tough. If at all possible, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, if more things are broken, it may be some glassware and or things. But again, uh, the insurance wants everything individually insured. So it's like, okay, let's say you have 100 glasses of like wine glasses, that sort of thing. How the fuck do I put like? Is this €2 or €3 per glass? It's- and how many kinds are the same? And
Hmm.
it's like,
Oh God.
and it's like I kind of expected something to go wrong. I'm happy that very little went wrong.
Hmm.
I mean, because the people that have been sending me like containers going over the side of the boats, like that was a real possibility, right?
Yeah, of course.
And since that didn't happen, and I got 99.8% of all my stuff back, I'm sort of like, I'm happy, but also like, this
Shit.
is on you and what insurance is for.
Hmm.
I'm kind of annoyed by that marble table that they didn't put anything on the edges, right? Like,
A cardboard or something. Fuck.
yeah, because you can get those cardboard L profiles, right, that you put on it.
Yeah.
Had they done that, it would have been fine. But
Nope.
I mean, and I understand that they probably didn't catch it earlier because there was nothing actually damaged in the bubble wrap.
Hmm.
It's just that we opened it and it's like, wait, where's all this dust coming from? It's like, oh no.
Fuck.
And then it's like somebody just took like a file to the side of it. It's like, yeah. Also, the boxes of the 50s literally have on them "this way up,"
I
and
know they do.
they covered them in extra protection foil, but didn't decide to put that important information on there, like "this way up," which is like, oh my god, just look on the bloody box, guys.
They don't, man. They just don't care. That's the problem. That's the worst scare of shipping stuff.
So I still don't know how. I mean, this is partially also for the 50s anyway, almost equally annoying to me is because they took the pallets off. The boxes are useless now.
Well, they're not useless, but it's definitely more difficult to deal with it
Yeah.
because you could remake those pallets, but fuck,
Yeah,
you know.
okay, but that costs money again.
Of course,
I mean, but also the way the 50s boxes come, like there's the pallet and then you have that sort of plastic woven cord, right, that you put over it.
the strap, yeah,
Yeah. Well, they took those away too.
yeah, but you can get the shipping straps. Yeah, you have to buy it again. I understand,
Again, yeah. I
but
mean, they took those shipping straps off and decided tape was better. Which is again in my mind is like what the hell are you doing?
hmm.
Because it's just that brown sort of plastic tape they replaced it with, and only
Hmm.
like one. Like they're so goddamn lucky. It's all in one bit.
Yeah, that could have ended way worse, in my opinion, than it did for the 50s.
Yeah. So yeah, not that happy. I mean, I'm happy it survived and it's all functional, but
Hmm.
I'm also not that happy with it. Like,
How it went down.
yeah, and the amount of boxes that were packed perfectly, but where it seems like maybe they did one of these things, like you catch it, and
Hmm.
some people just missed some, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you looked in the back of the van, and boxes that had breakable on them were like at the bottom of the stack that was stacked to the ceiling. Fortunately, I packed them all properly, and it survived.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had the forethought to actually like we had quite a lot of bedding and stuff that we could wanted to move, could move. So I had the forethought to like I have like big vases that are like 65-ish centimeters to stuff all the bedding in the vase and then go around it as well.
Yeah, so
So just when you
they're not
compress
hollow.
it, there's like actually something in it. So they survived, but it was like, God damn.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
I mean,
But at least, like I
the
said,
box is breakable and it has like 100 kilos on top of it. It's like, oh my god.
I'm just glad that it all worked out at the end of the day.
Yeah,
That's
me
all there
too.
is to it.
But I mean,
So when are you gonna start wiring up your place? Or
in the
just gonna
next
tear
2
out
weeks,
first?
essentially. So tomorrow I'm gonna start removing a wall. Had a contractor over yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and first the wall goes, then the ugly popcorn ceiling goes, then the kitchen and stuff goes. The ceiling will be patched and redone, and
Mm-hmm.
no popcorn ceiling.
Are you staying where you are as far as the studio is in
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
room?
This room is more or less going to stay as it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we will get new windows soon as well, so which will help quite a bit.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then after the initial bit is done, then an electrician is going to come in because since we're moving
Walls.
large parts of the kitchen, there's no gas in this house. It's all electric.
Mm-hmm.
So the stovetop is electric, which means that you have to have a 50 amp circuit moved to where the range is going to be. Which is like, I'm not that comfortable doing that much power myself.
No, no. And that's different wiring, different plugs. There are those big fuck off
Yeah.
commercial plugs. Yeah.
I mean, the copper inside is like the thickness of my pinky per
Yeah.
line, right?
Yeah. So it's not, yeah, those are not fun to work with.
So somebody's coming in for that. Then I want a bunch of new plugs everywhere. For some reason, this was a hype back in the day. All this, the light switches on the wall go to plugs in the wall. Because this is the only room that has a fucking light in the ceiling.
Yeah, because that's North American old school way. Like you would always have these mood lamps everywhere or night lamps or whatever, right? So that's what you would control it with is actually wall plugs. They don't have ceiling lights.
Yeah. So in our bedroom as well, there when you come into the door, there's a light switch, but that light switch controls the electrical outlet next to the bed. So it's like, okay, so I have a choice of like either I leave the light on and then manually turn it off if I want to charge a phone or something, or what?
Get
Or
a
I
lighting
just
control, bro. Get a Lutron in there and just dimmers.
yeah, but there's again even in the master bedroom, there's no light in the ceiling at all.
That was same in my old apartment in Calgary. Well, not old, it was a brand new building, but it was done like that too. They didn't
Yeah,
have they
I
didn't
don't like
have
that. It's annoying.
it is kind of dumb. And even in this place too, I have like the light, the lamp that is behind me right, well, not right now, but it's behind me, the little lamp. The light for it is actually behind the computer screen. So to turn it on, I turn it on from here.
It's so strange.
It
Anyway,
makes
we're gonna have an electrician over, and I'm gonna tell him like, could all the wall plugs be just please be wall plugs? Like, can you rip all that nonsense out? Like, if we're gonna have light switches around like that, they're gonna be for ceiling lights or something, and the rest is gonna be somehow smart controlled, right?
Have you thought about, since you're doing the fucking uh electrical rework a little bit, to put the 50s on 220 circuit?
And how would you do that? Because they have 220 here, but it's a different style of plug.
No, they have. We've done it with with the 50 with the 90s in Tremblant. It's just it's a different plug that comes out, so you can't plug in regular. But then you just make a plug from the the 90, whatever that computer plug connector is, right? You just cut the wire and put it into the commercial plug, and then you just plug it in. You have 220, and you can have 20 amps or 10 amp circuit on it. So then they would behave pretty much the same as they did in Europe, versus not having the going on 110, or do a separate 10 amp circuit to each. That would also be good for clean power.
I think I'd rather do that. I mean, I think the living room now is on a 20 amp circuit anyway. But I mean, the living room and or I guess mainly 50s will be on their own circuit anyway.
Yeah.
And probably with the GFCI protection behind it. Because if there's any weird...
You need it, do you think?
No, but just in case of lightning and or any weird high voltage thing, that the thing on the wall immediately goes, right? Or, I don't know, let's say I have 3 cats now. If they start fucking and or fucking up and or chewing on cables, that it immediately goes, and it also saves a cat.
I don't know if the kitty would make it, like, because that split second of that power. Oh, maybe not.
I mean, our newest kitty, she has a thing for like thin wire and napkins. So whenever she sees a napkin, it's like I must bite it.
Well, gone are the times of the 3.5 mil power link cable, so you're good.
Yeah. So, but I'm also gonna need some 6 outlets on the ceiling. Because 17s. So, and then some Cat 7 to all that as well.
You should buy a roll of Cat 7, maybe 2.
I probably will, yes.
If you buy a roll of the installation cable, which is thicker, it's solid copper. It's got little different bend radii, I guess, than the product cable that they call. But I would recommend running that one into the power links of the ceiling speakers.
Okay.
Because you also have a lot of heat and shit going on up and down as far as the attic space is concerned, where those wires are going to be. So
absolutely,
and those are rated on better level than the product cable. Plus, it's not braided cable, but it's a solid core. So yeah, it's a little more expensive on the plugs, but you don't have to go with the B&O plugs because they kind of don't fit into the regular Lutron or a Remington or whatever the fuck it is, the wall plates or Leviton, right? Like the generic North American style. But I know that Lutron has a female Cat 6 receptacles or plugs rather, that are shielded, so you can, because I've done a few B&O jobs where we ran that cable and put in, so then you can just go Cat 7 to Cat 7 little dink for power link.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't buzz, I'm happy.
No, those cables won't buzz. I mean, there's no way.
Once that is all done, then we're gonna need some Ubiquity gear.
Yeah, you're gonna go with the Ubiquity again?
Well, the last time it was Amplify, which is Ubiquity, but it's their consumer range. This is more commercial.
Serious? Yeah.
I mean, because cameras and that sort of thing, and
how many cameras are you gonna put? What do you think? You gonna buy like that fucking Hikvision, like 4 or 6 camera package with an NVR?
No, Ubiquity cameras.
Oh, you're gonna go with Ubiquities, okay?
Because I mean, you can control it all from this Dream Machine. And also, in the Dream Machine console, you can set up VPNs and stuff if you want to watch Dutch Netflix or whatever. You can just
Okay.
allocate it to an RJ45 port, or you can change it, or you can do it all in software. It's essentially sort of like the true image of internet, right? Like
Mm.
it's all managed, so you can set it to anything.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I mean, it's a bit server grade, but all these RJ45 outlets are either power over Ethernet or power over Ethernet plus rated as well.
Okay.
So I mean, you just pull a Cat6 cable to your access point or to your camera, and the camera doesn't need any additional power.
Hmm.
I mean, I mean, you're supposed to rack mount it, but I'll buy a small rack. You can put a 3.5 inch hard drive in there for a recording of all your cameras.
Hmm.
And then if that's still not enough, you can do more.
It's got a built-in 128 gig hard drive anyways, and then you can throw in a big one.
Yeah. I think the 128 gig is mostly for the operating system and stuff like that.
Mm.
But yeah, so I mean, you can even put consoles in your wall in places over Ethernet and stuff, so you can see what your cameras are doing, and there's a lot of UI where you can set where they trigger with recordings, and
Hmm.
I mean, you can buy an LTE backup system as well. So if I don't know, your internet goes out and somebody walks into your camera range, you get like a text message of like, "Hey, something happened."
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not sure all of that is needed in the beginning, but
I wish that Halo was PoE. I think that would have been a great idea for them to consider.
it is with an adapter, isn't it? The
I
way.
know, but it's an adapter. It's a pain in the dick. But I think it should have been straight PoE, and it should have been, and at that point, it should have been on the network hardwired. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Take the power and take the internet direct or network directly off of the cable. Not even sit on the Wi-Fi. Less is more, in my opinion, as far as the Wi-Fi network is concerned.
So yeah, you get a bunch of these cameras,
Hmm.
and I mean it's all hardwired, so
Yes,
that's kind of nice. You
it's
know,
gonna be a bitch to pull the cables in some places, but at the end of the day, man, once you do them and they're done, then they're there forever. So,
yeah. I mean, and they also have like the doorbell and stuff with.
mm,
I mean, funnily enough, you can make this run on the transformer of your current doorbell, where it just is continually like this is the only camera that sits on the network in terms of Wi-Fi,
hmm,
and it just gets its power from the 12 to 24 volt.
of the doorbell deal, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I think if I'm not mistaken, you can set your Apple TV up to also have whenever something happens, it pops up in the top right or left of the
Oh, okay.
screen, and it shows you anything
If
that's
there's a
just
movement detected,
yeah.
that's cool.
And you can you like it's so customizable. It's a bit much, and I'm a bit overwhelmed. Like I'm gonna probably need some help with some of this, but
But at the end of the day, that's what sells nowadays, man. It's the network and security.
yeah.
And obviously, even if it comes down to BNO, you have to have a good backbone network because no matter how good the product is and whatever, if your network is shit, it is not going to perform. It is not going to perform well.
Yeah. I mean, also in this doorbell, like like here in the bottom, there's an extra camera for package observation if like Amazon or something delivers anything and it's out of the view range. Like there's a camera pointing down from your doorbell.
That's cool. That's a very good idea, actually. But yeah, at least you know who took your package. But that happens so much. I don't know if it happens here, quite honestly, because I order all my Amazon, goes to the shop. It's easier and just shows up. It gets received and no problem.
Yeah, a lot of these things. I mean, I think every camera more or less has a microphone for recording sound as well. The doorbell for
Hmm.
sure is two-way talk.
It's crazy. It's got a small LC. Is it? Yeah, it's a display, LCM display.
Yeah.
So you can actually, what does it show you if you pick up the phone, like video call? Do you know?
I'm not sure if that's, but you can make custom welcome messages, or
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You can text essentially your doorbell. Let's say somebody rings the doorbell, and you're on the loo or something. You can say, "I'm on the loo. I'll be right there," and it displays your doorbell.
Yeah, if people are smart enough to look at it
Well, if
or to
that
read it.
fails, you can also talk through your phone to the doorbell.
Hmm. With the typical bathroom echo and shit.
Yeah. Like, I'll be right there.
Toilet flushes. Fuck.
But I mean, it's also, as per usual, accessible from just about anywhere in the world.
Hmm.
So even if you're on vacation, you can talk to people that are at your door.
How many cameras are you thinking of buying?
At least four. I mean, including doorbell, it's 5. But if you have a Ubiquiti switch, you can do just about as many as you want. I think you can go up to 40, which is a bit excessive, but
Hmm.
I mean,
Excessive or
essentially,
not,
you
but
want
that's,
like a 360 view around your house, right? Like
yeah.
that way, uh, nobody can at least come to the structure without you noticing.
Hmm.
So that's kind of what, and I'm not sure I want all that much inside. Potentially one where it's like looking at the 2 main entrances.
I'd put one in the garage.
Yeah, I may.
Just in case. Because if anybody's going to break in, they're going to break in through the garage, most definitely. Because there's already enough deterrent on the front door with the camera, in my opinion, right?
Stefan asked question: how is Florida living so far? Florida is excellent. It's hot. You need to get used to it. Today's been very rainy and not so hot, so it's nice.
Mm.
I must say, I was dreading the acclimation time, but it's actually gone quite a lot quicker than I expected it to go.
You can always get used to nicer faster.
Well, I'm not sure if it's nice all the time, because when it's like, uh, what's 95 Fahrenheit in C?
A lot.
Yeah, when it's like 35 degrees Celsius out with like 60-70% humidity. Uh,
Shit gets sticky quick.
yeah, and there've been 1 or 2 days where it was like closer to 38, but it's been 38 in the Netherlands before, right? But you
Hmm.
sort of go outside and it's like, oh. But here it was a sort of, it's hard to explain because you can sort of smell the moisture coming off the ground, and the sun
Hmm.
was like roasting. Like you walked in the sun and it was like, ooh, like I feel this, like ooh.
It's hot, yeah.
Yeah, and it and it's one of these things where it's like, I'm gonna walk in the shade to the Walmart or whatever,
Yeah, dude. I've done that
or I'm
mistake
gonna
once
do
when I
one of
was
these
there.
quick walks where it's like, uh,
Yeah.
so in general, the weather is changeable. It's hot, but not excessively so.
Hmm.
I would say what annoys me most is that this is not Florida particularly, but more the house we bought. Quite a lot of stuff needs doing outside, which I don't mind doing, but God, do you sweat a lot.
Hmm.
And that's partially the heat. Like if you just sit around and or walk, it's fine. But I mean, our garden is quite large, so if I mow the lawn, that's like an hour 15, an hour 30. Like you're drenched after that, like properly drenched.
Oh, I'm certain of it.
I mean, I'm very happy we have a pool. So after something like that, like you essentially take your shoes off, put your phone away, and go flop into the pool, and it's like, oh, I'm good again.
That's funny. But yeah, that matters too. Like, yeah, like if you can cool down.
uh, yeah, everything and everything. Everybody has AC everywhere, which is it's and nice and depending on where you go is a bit excessive.
You
Like
go to Walmart and it's fucking freezer time.
I mean, the Walmart actually is weirdly kind of all right. We went to a Dairy Queen yesterday
Oh shit.
because ice cream.
Yeah.
But good God, was it cold in there? I mean, it's funny. Last night it was 86 Fahrenheit when we went into the Dairy Queen, which is about 30 degrees Celsius. And both me and the missus were walking outside, and it's like, oh, it's comfortable now.
Hmm.
And normally, like in Europe or anywhere else, like 30 would have been like, oh, I'm so miserable. But being here for like a month or so is like 30 degrees C is already kind of like, this is nice. It's not so bad now.
That's funny. But yeah, it gets hot in there. It gets really hot in Montreal. I'm actually surprised how much it's hot and humid in here compared to Calgary, right? Calgary is very dry, so you can tolerate the plus 35 or 30 degrees much better or easier than when your shirt, your pants, yourself stick to yourself, and yeah, it's just hot as piss. But you know what? I appreciate the summer everywhere I am so far.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, look
You
at
got the
how.
farmer stand, fuck.
And this is actually not as bad as it used to be, right? Like, this used to be like two shades of whiter.
That's funny. Farmer stand, bro.
Well,
That's the way to rock.
essentially, how like I'm sort of pink up here now is because I like yesterday. There's so many bushes and trees that need like trimming because
Mhm,
the company that took care of the property just sort of went well with scissors, like that's fine. We've trimmed.
mhm.
So there's a lot of overhang. So I did trimming, but it's like you're so drenched. It's like it's worse when everything is sticking, and so I just take my shirt off because
Are
at
you
least
putting any speakers outside? Speaking of being outside,
not built in because I mean maybe the A9 or maybe the A5, but so I'm not gonna go the full Henrik and like build in Celestials outside.
oh, you put those celestials outside?
No, no, no. Like, but that's what Henrik would do if he hadn't, because we have an outside like patio bit
Yeah,
with a
yeah, yeah.
roof above it. But yeah, I'm just gonna take like an A5 or something outside. It'll be plenty. Maybe an A9.
I think K9 is a better idea.
I mean, we'd probably have to get one of these skinny play covers.
Big American flag. Yeah,
You know,
America. What are you gonna get for skinny play if you're gonna get something?
I don't know. Maybe something custom. Maybe.
Big fucking orange picture of an orange.
Uh, I guess I could. I could also could do a gator or something.
Yeah,
I mean, or maybe a variation of the Earth one.
or Death Star. Death Star popular. Death Star's cool.
I mean, I do like that it's North America that's already on here
What do you mean where?
on the Skinny Play Earth one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I live more or less there where my mouse is.
I don't see it. What the heck? My shit is paused. There we go. I wasn't live. Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, eventually you'll live at the tip of the PP that is Florida.
I'm gonna make him to make me a flat Earth one, where all the Earth is on it.
Like an
With
ice wall.
That's right. I'm gonna put the goddamn ice wall around it, and I'm gonna have a flat Earth A9.
Kind of funny because it still has a bomb in it.
Well, yeah, that's where the Mount Everest, the highest peak, is on the top of the A9.
But yeah, I mean, all these skinny play covers essentially are really nice.
I love them.
It's just sort of what to go with. I may actually, because I was thinking of potentially hooking my Beogram 2000 up to the A9, like get something like this, but then like have my favorite records be this
I was gonna
one.
ask, like, would you do a what, like Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon on it?
Yeah, or like the Rumors album of
hmm
uh,
Fleetwood.
Fleetwood Mac, or I mean, actually, I think for Pink Floyd, for me, the "Wish You Were Here" album is even more my favorite than the "Dark Side of the
Yeah,
Moon" one.
yeah, that one is nice. I don't know. I'd probably go with like Daft Punk.
But yeah, I mean,
It's looking like it's gonna rain today.
the world's your oyster, really, with skinny
hmm
play, and that's. I mean, and I've always loved an A9. There's just something. I'm. It's one of the few speakers where I put. Maybe because I haven't had it, right? Like I've only had
hmm
it for review, but in the last apartment, it's like, where do you put it? Like, I'm out of space, but now I have so much more space. It's sort of like,
Well, it can be a midway kitchen and outside speaker through that sliding door because you can just bring it out, plug it in outside, dude, and that's got enough power
yeah.
to just push.
But in terms of, for me anyway, desirability, I almost want this more than I want 90s.
Why?
Well, it's an iconic design. It has a look. It has a feel.
It's
It's
much more
also,
recognized as a B&O product. Yes.
yeah, and it's also way more attainable. But you need some space for it, right?
hmm
And I'm not saying I don't want 90s, but it's like it's such an icon. It's sort of like saying I don't care for 18s or 8000s when you're a B&O fan. It's kind of like, wait, you need to have owned those at least once.
hmm I completely agree because that is the truest B&O speakers you can get,
Yeah, so,
or
but
the
it was
most
just,
iconic rather.
it was more, how would you say, a sort of an extensive luxury problem because like in my last apartment I have nowhere to put it, and if I put it anywhere I will never touch it because I don't go there.
hmm
But now in this house there's so much more space to do fun things like that.
hmm No, I think it's a great speaker for outside as well, especially like if you have the roof covered and all that. A5 school, but I don't think it can hold its weight in outside of like the magnitude of the yard that you have out there. Maybe get two of them.
But did
Have a
something just
service.
disconnect from my computer, like,
I don't know. We're
because
still live, so we're good.
yeah, I just hear like
And your
something
cat walked away from behind the computer.
what happened.
uh, Something just went.
But I also thinking like hooking up the Beogram to it
Mm,
is a dual purpose thing, right? Where and it'll sound good because I mean it's a Beogram. It's not the most uprated. It doesn't have the best needle and whatever. It still sounds good, but there's no real reason to have it hooked up to like 50s again.
no,
But attaching it to an A9 would make it multi-room.
that's right. So
Sorry if something disconnected. Something USB surely disconnected on here, but I don't know what happened. I just say it twice, like doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. It's like, wait, what?
Weird. But yeah, I agree. It's an icon of a speaker. It's been around, man. Like, quite honestly, almost my entire B&O career is, since I started working with B&O, because it came out in what, 2012, 11?
Think so. The Mark One, yeah.
Because I
Been a
remember
while.
I remember when I first started with B&O. It just came out. BeoTalk 12 came out,
I think
but it
we're in
was
year
after
11
the
now.
A9.
Yeah.
Yeah, the A9 was the first that just it. Man, I first played. I'm like, holy shit, this thing is insane.
I mean, I also think I should kind of decide on this before another 10% gets added to it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me, I'm not paying $4,500 for one. Like, I love it, but it's getting a bit ridiculous.
Well, yeah, you got one more month basically, right? Because I think it's September that they're gonna jack it up. I don't know if it's the end or beginning of it.
It
But
seems like it's August 15th.
oh, really? It's not
So
even September.
if you're not a very high net worth individual and you want some stuff, you have quite literally a month to buy your stuff at the old prices,
Mm-hmm.
which are already jacked up from like the previously old prices.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I agree with generic enthusiast over on Twitch, where it's like it almost seems like these constant price increases seem like an incompetent pricing strategy. Like, there's not that many things that go up by that much at least twice a year, right?
Mm-hmm. No, but I think that like they fucked up with the theater when it comes to pricing, in my opinion, because you can't like I wouldn't jack it 20%, but maybe 5, 10 at the most, like the rest of it. Even though you did release it cheap, but if you came out with that thing and it would let's say it costed what you should appropriately price, let's say it costs 15 grand for all the features that it gives you and the power of sound and clarity and blah 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 blah. I don't think that we would sell as many units as we sold now. You know what I mean? Because like there are some people that the fucking grill makes a difference. They go for gray melange over the oak because that's another $1,000 less.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just don't understand it. Like I've installed 4 theaters on the floor stand, one in a showroom, one here, and 2 at the client's places that I remember. We did 3 wall brackets, and the rest is on the wall, separate from the TV, or on a table stand, separate from the TV.
Yeah, I
Because it's
mean,
already steep.
I wall mounted it for this exact same reason. Like, I'm not paying that much for a face amount. Sorry.
16. It's a highway robber, in my opinion, for what it is. Like these few metal parts and shit like that. The production cost on that is, if it is, let's say $200, and I'm being very generous here. Like, come on, that should not be that expensive.
I mean, even
And
if it was 400,
6,000 Canadian. Yeah, you know what? $400-500, I can agree. I don't have an issue with that. But like, if you start talking freaking $1,600 Canadian for a 2 pieces of plastic and a couple metal rods and a plate, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Let alone the fact that the floor stand is the most expensive one they've so far had for anything.
Though I'm less, I find the floor stand price less objectionable.
Why?
I mean, yes, it is high, but it's a very nice floor stand.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
I mean,
it's beautiful.
It's ridiculous money compared to an Eclipse, but it's in many ways, I think, equally nice, if not nicer.
I think it is nicer. It is nicer, and especially because when the TV turns, it doesn't wobble the panel like it used to do it on the little thin pipe. Because no matter how good you tighten that thing down, there's always going to be a little bit of a
Yeah.
flex. So Yeah, there's six of one, half dozen the other situation everywhere, I guess, all the time.
The floor stand is €3,000. Would I be more okay with it if it was 2,500 for sure? But
Mm,
that means it doesn't feel as expensive as that screen mount interface does to me.
fair enough. Yeah, but
So
it's still, I like the way they engineered it, and I like the theater a lot. To be honest, I really do like the product.
did
It's a fantastic piece of equipment.
do they still sell the wall mount for the A9?
Oh yeah,
Because they don't like mention it anywhere
you
anymore.
can find it under accessories in not on the main page of the product. Of course, that would make way too much goddamn sense. But if you go to support, I think
Speaker accessories.
there you go. For speaker accessories, there you go. There's the wall bracket
Because I'll probably get both. Get and the legs.
and the bracket.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to deal with it because once it's on the wall bracket, you put the bottom two legs, take it off, sit it on the two legs, and mount the third one, and that's it. So then you don't ever have to worry about touching the ground with it or fucking up that aluminium ring.
Yeah. I kind of wish they still made that aluminium ring with a black backing, not with the grey backing, though.
You can probably get a bespoke now. So.
Yeah, and pay 50% more for parts they already make.
Just for somebody put it together differently. That's basically what you're paying for.
Yeah, well, is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, man. So do you have anything set up for a TV, or what are you guys? How are you guys existing so far? Or is everything just you got a Beosound
iPads and
moment?
laptops and
So what do you have a moment hooked up to? Pair of 17s, let me guess.
no 50s.
Oh, you put the 50s up.
Yeah,
Nice.
but the moment doesn't recognize what the 50s are, so
Right.
they're just as other.
Even the 90s were other.
Yeah,
It only goes up to lab fives, which is sad.
but
Or not lab fives, but lab fives, and then
it recognizes
lab
20s
20s.
and 18s
Yeah.
and 19, and it's like I don't understand this. Like,
Yeah, and the funny thing was that they were showing that, like, this was the player streamer for the Beolab 90s back in the day, because in 2015 this was a very current product still, but they never put that Beolab 90 in the menu or Beolab 50 in the menu. They just completely gave up and abandoned ship on it, which is sad.
yeah,
It's
you would
sad.
have thought it's kilobytes, like not even megabytes, right? Like
It's just text, man. Maybe a little bit of different. I don't know what the difference is
it's
between the
just a
presets or
preset.
latency.
Even if it's other, just
Yeah,
name it so that people think it's there.
yeah. So
But
yeah, that's one thing I don't understand why they didn't. They should have paid attention more to that moment. But also, I think the hardware that they've used was so cheap that it really affected the performance of it altogether, and you
yeah,
couldn't do much with it. So that's it was so underspec. But I think that if they had put, if that thing was like a Mozart platform, I think it would have been a great product. When you would just have the screen as an interface, literally, and the sound heart would be the Mozart chip with everything in it, and I think it would have worked much better, and then something that would still be current, because then you now all of a sudden have title support for your BLab 90s and 50s if you wanted to get into that listening experience.
yeah, a piano
So
radio.
B&O radio
Because
instead of
every
tuning.
time I use the moment now, I get that pop up of like, you can migrate this all to B&O radios, and then you go to B&O radios, like this is not supported. It's like, yeah, no shit.
So that
What the
product kind
hell,
of
guys?
sucks. That product sucks. But for me, the only thing that I will keep it, if I do keep it, is for the IR sensor of it. For if I'm going to keep the shape, but I have a light sensor. I mean, the IR sensor in the shape, anyways. But
Kind of
that's
funny. It almost works better through the app than it does through the actual tablet on the moment itself.
hmm yeah. I never really used the tablet much. Like when we've done it before, like during a New Year's party in 2016 or 15 to 16. But the product still worked properly, or moment worked very well. Nothing was abandoned off it. But once it became abandoned, then yeah, the thing was just it became my Lego room stereo, which was barely ever touched, and it was there more or less for the IR, so I can control the gateway
Yeah,
with lights. So
it is what it is. I mean, for
indeed,
now,
it
it's my
is.
source, and it works fine for testing stuff.
hmm
And
Well, you still get radio. Do you get commercials in it compared to B&O radio?
uh, every so often.
Yeah, it depends, I guess, what you listen to as
I
well.
mean, I have a free tune-in subscription, and
hmm
every, I don't know, fifth time or something you change the station, you get like 15 seconds of a weird ad.
That's not that bad, but
No,
still.
so like tune-in is still fine. Beano
hmm
radio is slightly easier to use, I guess, and no ads at all. But I'm not
Plus, it
that
all
bothered.
natively works. Yeah, I know, and it all works within its own environment. So that's
Yeah.
what's cool. But at
Uh,
any rate,
yeah, I'm gonna call it because I need to take a leak quite badly. So hope everybody enjoyed. Hope everybody buys whatever they want before the 15th because
yeah,
you're going to be crying afterwards, I think.
get your
Especially
orders
if you're
in,
looking for 50s and or 90s. Like, dear God. Uh,
or at least put your order and put a deposit in on things, and then set a delivery date for later. But at least you have that locked down for the old price.
yeah, also if you're looking at a theater, this is kind of your opportunity
Yeah,
because it going up by 20% is a big chunk of change.
yeah,
So if you want one, do it now because it's basically the difference of having it with grey melange or an oak cover.
pretty much.
So yeah. Anyway, have a good week, everybody, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.